Hey everyone, this is Kathy again. I'm just going to do another little video today on making lists. And I made one recently about pros and cons of different things that I've encountered through Warrior contacting me, and it really helps me. And I'm very old school. I have it on paper right here. And I think it's important for anybody to make lists if you really need to do that. I'm an organizer and a planner, and people make grocery lists and they make their everyday to-do lists and things like that. But I think if you're struggling with something and you're trying to figure it out, it really helps to put it on paper, and you can keep it and you can go back and read, and it really gets you thinking. And I love that my pros are winning. And a lot of these things are just characteristics of myself that I think, embodied the truth of how Warrior was. I'm an organizer, I'm a planner, I'm introverted a lot. I like to read, I like to think things through. I need time alone every day. I like writing, just like he did. I like to mix stuff up. I like my routines like everybody, but I still want to be creative and have variety with things that I do. And that's how he was. And I'm independent. I like to do things my own way. And I'm a firm believer in principles, just like he was. And there were a lot of times in my life that relationships suffered because of that. And they still might, but because I just stand up for things I believe in, and even things that people probably didn't think that I would, but I did. And that was just me being me. It wasn't me following him or doing any of that. Little things make a big difference, and I've learned that to be true in my life. You have to look for that, and I think that's what's helped me. My humility, you have to look to the funny. Humor is a big deal. Loyalty matters. Things that I go for, whether it's people or situations you're in, whatever, it does make a big difference. And I think that's great that that's validated and recognized. And I'm glad that I've had proof of that. I've never been in a normal kind of group. I've always stood out, kind of done things the way I want to do them. And I know that's how he was as well. And I just keep going. I don't give up. I have this attitude inside where I don't like the words giving up. And I'm going to vlog about that on mywarriorwritings.com. It's all a learning process. It's all growth. And that's all what we do. There's no coincidences. I think things do matter. And they do really make a difference. But if I were to be in a debate with somebody, or talking about this with somebody who was a skeptic or a doubter, and they would say things like, but I have this, and I do this, and I've done this, and why hasn't this happened for me? There's lots of reasons. The meditation really helped with me, and I think it's all about your intent and your belief and your emotions. It has to be there. It has to really be there. But I don't fit in with, these groups, which a lot of them are men. And I realize that. They've got big tattoos of him. I have my little logo. But I don't have a shrine for him. I don't have a pedestal. And I know he talked about not doing that. And that's great that people want to have that. I have a few things, and they mean the world to me. And I think that does truly matter. And these people who do that, it's phenomenal what they do. It isn't for me, but, that's great for them. But I know people are going to look to that. And I never met him. I never saw him perform. I never got his autograph or my picture taken with him, and all these stories that I've heard about these guys, especially who met him when they were little boys. I was a teenage girl, so kind of a different scenario there. But things can happen to you. They can at any time, and that's what I'm trying to say. And, he's not a relative. He's not anybody that I ever even met besides being a huge fan of his forever. But that's what I'm trying to get across to people, is that it can be that way with celebrities and, you know, spirit visitation dreams. You know, those happened after I started meditating. And, you know, it just kind of went from there. But I can say all these things that I don't have, you know, or I do my fitness a few hours a day. I have my yoga and other things like that. But there's going to be guys who are going to want to do what he did, and that's fine for them. It's not something that I attain to, but I have intensity in other ways, and the mentality, and you know, that counts for me. But I do think it's important to make these kinds of lists for anybody. If you are struggling with something and you want to find the answers, go back and read it and go through that again and figure that out for yourself. And it helps you. It helps you continue on. Where if you're having some doubts or you can't believe this is happening to you, I would think of new things and just write them down and say, oh, that's something, and that's something. And I go back in my brain and think of the way I did things even years ago. And when I lost track of him, and well, it was in the back of my mind, but it's just who I am, you know, being a warrior. So I recommend this to anybody. You know, make a list. If it's something that you need answers on or you need clarity on, ask for that and do that. And do the things that work for you. You don't need to do what I did. But try it. Try it and see what kind of response you get and how it makes you feel. It's all about how it makes you feel. So make those lists and believe in yourself, and who knows what's going to happen. So thank you all for watching, and I hope that my message can get across to those of you who are searching for answers. I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.